Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop you right there, or we're gonna stop the council meeting, because I'm not gonna let you speak on something that has to do with police, with the
You don't even
police
know what I was
and.
going to say.
Let me call your attention to a city council meeting in the town of East Point, Michigan, where the town's mayor apparently believes that she has the authority to silence the free speech of the peasants living in her realm. By the way, this mayor was touted by the media as being the greatest thing basically since sliced bread. She's actually listed with a booking agent for public speakers, advertising a speaking fee of $5,000 to $10,000. Her bio there on this site explains that she was a former Detroit police officer for 11 years, describing her as a, quote, social justice trailblazer. If you've ever watched a city council meeting before, don't turn this off just yet. You want to watch this one. This is like taking the dumbest police officer from the worst police department in the country and putting them in charge of a town's First Amendment rights.
It is now 7 p.m. I want to welcome everyone to our regular meeting. So the hearing of the public is now open. You get 3 minutes each time. We ask you to be respectful because we have all ages and backgrounds and people that are listening.
There's some things that need to be said. I'm here in support of Councilman Curley.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna stop you right there, or we're gonna stop the council meeting, because I'm not gonna let you speak on something that has to do with police, with the
You don't
police
even know what I was
and.
going to say.
Mayor, you
I
gotta
have
let her
no
speak.
idea what I was going to say.
Well, I'm gonna let her speak, but okay. Hold on. We're gonna have order, but if you're speaking on something that has to do with something that has to do with a police report, we're gonna respect the people that's in that.
Point of order,
We can-
Mr. Albright, regarding interruption of someone speaking in.
And I'm gonna have a point of order, and I'm gonna talk over you. This is gonna be one of those
Well, you
meetings
know-
y'all never seen before. You're not gonna disrespect people that have.
You
Things
interrupted
going
without
on.
knowing what I was going to
Mayor,
say.
Okay,
you
well,
can talk about public things.
She can talk about public things, but I'm giving her a warning, just like we have always give people
Right.
warnings before they spoke on certain things.
That's inappropriate.
And I have First Amendment rights as well.
Point of order.
Okay, from what I can tell here, the mayor filed for a restraining order against one of the other city council members, and the people are pissed off about it, and they showed up to express their displeasure, which, as we see, the mayor isn't about to allow to happen. By the way, I dug a little more into her past, beyond the media fluff pieces, and check this out. I found this in a Facebook comment, actually. Someone posted an excerpt of a police report where the mayor tried to get the police to retaliate against an actual elderly lady who was encouraging people not to vote for this low IQ Tyrant. The report, written by the police officer, notes that an 80-year-old woman arrived at a location where Owens was campaigning and, quote, began to harass her by telling bystanders to not vote for her. Oh, the horror. And to vote for someone else. The officer advised Owens that this woman has the right to free speech just as she does. And she has the right to speak publicly as well. Wow. And he advised her this in 2019, and still in 2022, she hasn't understood that. This is unreal. But now, really, it's all coming together. In fact, I'd like to know now why she ended up only working as a police officer in Detroit for 11 years. If you know the answer to that, and if it's interesting, please reach out and inform me.
It's called hearing of the public, and the hearing of the public has every opportunity and every chance to say what they want within the 3-minute time capsule.
Well, there was times with Councilman DeMonico, when a guy spoke about Republicans and things like that and certain things, he stopped them. And so what I'm saying is, this is the point of order. This is the type of order that we should have in this meeting. And so starting with certain things in this meeting, I am saying in the point of order, we're not going to talk about certain incidences to keep order. And so, yes, we have First Amendment rights, but no one, even though we have First Amendment rights, no one is allowed to say anything racial or discriminatory at that mic, and I will stop them if it's going to cause disorder. And if you're going to say something concerning certain things, allegations that have not been done by a judge, or anything like that, I'm going to stop it too. Or that's the type of meeting we're going to have tonight. So I'm going to continue to let her speak. I stopped the timing, and I'm going to start it over.
Our first citizen, 3 words into what she was going to say, not knowing what she was going to say, you jumped on her disrespectfully.
Don't say jump.
Because you didn't know what
you guys always know how to use wrong wording. I'm not enraged like you have been. Like I said.
I'm sorry, you said, what did you say? What did you say?
I'm not enraged. So like I said, in
Well,
any
you like that,
meeting,
you like that word, don't you?
and I love that word.
Yeah.
And you love
Why are
Fran.
you, under Always, why are you interrupting?
We're not going to go back
Okay,
and
how
forth.
about
I'm
we
going to
just
let her
continue the
speak.
meeting? How about we just continue the meeting?
So I'm starting your timing over. And when I stopped you, that's the point of order. Now, you're going to stop talking, I'm going to ask you to leave. Now, if you want to speak, you can come to the microphone. Now, I'm going to give her some time to speak, like everyone else.
I would like to have our city attorney give the opinion about people coming up and speaking at the hearing of the public, if you could do that.
City Attorney?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Members of the public have a right to address the city council, or they may speak individually about a member of the council as well. But again, if it's going to get into an issue of racial accusations, something along those lines, then the mayor certainly has the right to, as the controller of the meeting, to shut that down. But otherwise, anybody has a free reign of topics that they would like to speak about or address, and if they want to address a particular member of this council with criticism, they have the right to do that. That's part of our First Amendment.
But again, like you said, the mayor, if she sees something that's going out of order, I have that to stop them as well. So I'm going to but I also have my First Amendment right. And if you're saying something out of line as my First Amendment right, whether a mayor or not a mayor, I'm going to speak.
And all I wanted to say is, I've talked to a number of people who've known Harvey for over 60 years, who have not had anything negative to say about him. Talked to a young lady the other day, said she remembers when she was a kid and how thoughtful and friendly you were. Hearing a person out before judging what they're going to say should be the rule.
Hello, my name's Karen Beltz. I've lived in this city for over 40 years. And though I think I've met you a couple of times, Harvey, but I really don't know you. But I do know a lot of people that do know you. You have a reputation for being reasonable, rational, intelligent, mild-mannered. Although I don't blame you for getting angry sometimes. I think it's ridiculous that you're now in this position of defending yourself against really what I consider to be outrageous claims.
You're not going to sit here and assault me, lady I never met. Don't call my name because I don't know what book you're reading, and I don't care. If I am a person, a victim, you're not going to use that platform to re-victimize anyone, and no one in this audience is going to do that. To no woman and to no person. If a person puts a police report out on someone, you don't use that platform for that. That platform is used for policy, procedures, and things going on in the city, not to use it for other things and make it personal. Anyone else would like to speak at this time? If there is a police report out or something that you've seen, you let that person and that victim and that person who's fighting that deal with the courts. You don't use that platform to victimize a person that felt like it was assaulted or fearful of their life. You don't use that platform for that. Nobody will. No one. As long as I'm mayor, you don't use that platform to re-victimize anyone, whether it's a guy, woman, or anybody. That is not the place. Now, if someone wants to talk about what's going on in this city and not someone's personal business, the hearing of the public is now open. Anyone else would like to speak and not re-victimize people that are physically assaulted or anything like that? Or allegedly? That is not what that is for.
Karen Morajan, East Point resident. This is ridiculous. There's no reason for this. We have First Amendment rights. Part of our First Amendment right clearly states we have the right to redress our government without fear of reprisal or retaliation. If you can't take the criticism, you should not be mayor. Enough is enough.
This is a personal matter. It's not about criticizing. You can criticize my policy. You stop it.
Let's the people talk.
You
are
stop it.
violating my First
And you're violating my rights as a person that can call the police and use the police department for my rights. If someone chooses to call the police, that is their right. You don't victimize them for that.
You are out.
You are out of line. You are out of line.
You're out of order.
You are out of line.
Point of order. You are out of line.
You are out of line. Now, do you want to stand there and talk about your cats and your dogs in the community, but you won't talk about me?
You don't interfere
Okay?
with my free speech.
And you don't interfere with my free speech.
Criticize
You don't get to, you got 1 minute.
of reprisal or
What else do you want to talk about?
Would you like the news crew to come out?
The news already comes out.
That's it. I guess we're done. Thank you very much for
ahead.
running this city.
We'll take a 10-minute recess.
Bye.
Okay.
So, I can't speak.
If we lost the No, it wasn't embarrassing. You come in here every
I mean, do I really need to explain that this woman is violating the First Amendment every which way? It's pretty obvious. There's no "I don't like that topic" exception to the First Amendment, especially not one involving actual allegations against actual public officials in that actual town. That should go without saying. The few local news articles I could find on this mentioned that the town's residents were upset about this and they were reaching out to the ACLU. Good luck with that. As always, thanks for watching. You'll find more information at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. If you want to learn more about these types of cases, your constitutional rights, your First Amendment rights, Mayor Owens definitely should subscribe. She should definitely hit the bell notification so she doesn't miss any more videos at the Civil Rights Lawyer channel. Please also comment with your thoughts about this case. Are you ready to move to East Point, Michigan? Yes or no? And why? If you want to support the channel, please consider clicking the join button, becoming a channel member or sponsor on YouTube. Remember, freedom is scary. Deal with it. And never, ever, ever move to East Point, Michigan, unless they get a new mayor. See you next time.